To the Repat Nation, Peter here, you there. Welcome aboard. I had promised a part 2 to what I talked about, was it yesterday or the day before? And I know I owe you, so here I am to deliver on that. Now, it may be multiple parts, not really a 2, 3, 4, on and on and on. My content, let me tell you right now, it will not be curated. It is going to be raw, and just as I think about it, I'm just here talking from the top of my head. So with that, let's get into it. So to give you a bit more context, my first job in the U.S. was around 1992. Living with my uncle at the time, he had a buddy, I think guy from Clarendon, named Shorty. And at some point he came by the apartment to see me and said, he's got a job for me if I could start in a day or two. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I had nothing going on at the time. I was just there, living with my uncle, not doing anything constructive. Back when I was young, dumb, and you know the rest. And sure enough, got a job, and really he was a handyman, or a contractor, if you want to call it that. Strictly speaking, he was not a contractor, but he got a gig to remodel an apartment, and I went on board. Really, anything he wanted me to do, stripping the walls or the wallpaper. Some parts, if I remember, was hacking away at sheetrock, parts that were damaged from whatever. It was not good work, if you will, in terms of what had to be done. It was pretty intense. But I was young. I didn't even hit the prime of my life yet, so it was all good. I think I was making $4 an hour. Don't quote me on that, but some ridiculous number, really low rate. Again, early 90s, different time, different place. Okay, fast forward a few years. In 1997, again, it wasn't working. And in fact, I had just come back. I'd gone back to Jamaica and hung out for a few, and then came back around 1997. 1997. And it wasn't working. And I was living in Florida at the time, and the apartment I was at, not too far from it, maybe about 1/8 of a mile, if that far, was a strip mall that had a computer shop in it. And I had been in there a couple of times. Again, throughout the day, I've got nothing to do. I come out of the apartment and walking around the neighborhood, and I just walk into this random strip mall, and I see a computer store. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm into computers. I like computers. That's what I do for a living. And I walk in there, browsed around and all that. And one day I went back there and I asked to speak with the owner. His name was John. His wife and his son, they all ran that shop. And I said to him, I'm looking for work. I haven't landed anything yet. I'm sitting at home doing nothing. I said to him, I'm good at computers. If you'd like to have some help, I will work for free. He immediately stretched out his hand and said, welcome aboard. Right there. Quote unquote, hired me on the spot. And did that for a while. I don't know, maybe 3 months. Yeah, about 3 months doing all that. Until I finally got a job with a company called, long defunct now, called Data Tree Technologies. They were on Commercial Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. And I got a job there, corporate gig, kind of corporate gig. I was going to be a field engineer for the company, which pretty much means driving around the state or wherever they send me to connect a client network, computer network, to our network back in Fort Lauderdale. And how I got the job was, it was in the paper, Sunday paper, saw the opportunity and applied to it. Went in for the interview. And I'm talking with the hiring manager, and maybe, 10 minutes into it, she says to me, "You're Jamaican." I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." And she's like, "My husband is Jamaican." And at that point, it went from an interview to now we're just shooting the breeze and just talking freely. And needless to say, she gave me the job. One thing I'd like to say here is chance favors the prepared mind. Maybe if her husband wasn't Jamaican, who knows? I can't say that. But right there is that's where I got my foot in the door in America. And that's all I wanted. I got the opportunity. And that job served as a foundation for me to stand on its shoulders for every subsequent opportunity from there on out. Right there was what I needed. I got a break. And then from there, at the time I was more on the hardware side of computers. I was a bench tech where I fixed computers, assembled them. I moved into networking, where I connected computer networks. I've done operations and all that. It was a few years later, about 2000, that I went into software development on a whim, because at the time we were all going to retire by the time we 30 because of the internet boom at the time. Yeah, right. Anyway, so did that for a few years at that point, cutting my teeth, getting my feet wet, till I eventually became a consultant. And I did consulting work for about 25 years. Different industries, aviation, insurance. I've worked with Ernst Young, Coca-Cola, Hewlett-Packard, American Express, Bell South Group, which is now part of AT&T. I have worked with some really, really interesting companies, large and small. I've done the gamut of one-man shops when the economy wasn't so great after 9/11, the 2008 crash. The technology world here ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys, depending on what's going on. A lot of it is predicated on the economy and everything that hangs off that. So, for the most part, it's been great. Over the years, I have truly loved what I do or have done. Well, at this point, have done. Over the years, I have never said, "Look, I'm out of this industry." Love it, love it, love it. I would always cut up and say, "You know what? I make very good money, or fairly good money, fairly fair. Yeah, I make a fair wage to be able to play with computers all day." And I've joked about that for years. Yeah, for 10, 12, 14 hours, maybe longer, depending on what's going on. Yeah, I get paid to play around with computers, and over the trajectory of time, I have loved it, and I do miss it. So that gives you some idea there in terms of context where I've been, where I'm at now. And this goes back to the conversation or the story about the lady that was in the UK for 40 or 50 years or whatever time frame it was, pretty long time, and came back with quote unquote nothing. And she was pretty much being looked down upon and berated for it. It ties in. Stick with me, please. My point is, and it goes back to people in Jamaica not understanding the dynamics of living here, what it means to have boots on the ground, living day to day. So for years, I've done great. Yeah, there were times when I didn't work for 3-4 months for whatever reason. Okay, it's very competitive here. But overall, I've had the opportunity of a lifetime to work in this country. I've been blessed to have worked with so many people from across the entire globe. Every mainstream country you can think of, I have worked with a national from there. If I was still in Jamaica, the likelihood of that happening, none. I wouldn't trade that for the world. Back to my point. With all of that, I was doing good. When my daughter was little, I could send her to private school with the who's who of Fort Lauderdale. And I didn't even know that. It was another parent. One day we were talking in the parking lot, waiting for them to come out. And, guy said to me, do you know our kids go to school with the who's who of Fort Lauderdale? And I'm looking down at myself. I'm like, who's who of Fort Lauderdale? I don't do who's who. I'm struggling here, I think. But I was able to do that, blessed enough to do that. And over time, it just kept getting better and better and better and better, to the point where I'm earning well north of $100,000 a year. Doing great. Okay? But then COVID happens. And we all know what happened there. And the shop I was at the time, I made it through COVID. And yeah, interestingly enough. So I'm a consultant, and they actually furloughed employees around me. And I still kept going to work. I didn't get furloughed. After COVID, still hanging in there, and my thought at one point, I said, you know what, I could probably get on perm here and hang my hat. I've accomplished a lot. I don't, my kids are grown. I'm good. I can stay here and just ride it out and ride off into the sunset. And then one day, I get the call. And my career of 30 years came to an end in 30 seconds. Gone. Done. Okay. No biggie. No problem. I've been here before. Go out, take a little bit of time off, start looking for another job. And this goes on and on, trying to get another job. Nothing's happening. Trying to get another job. Nothing's happening. Okay. A few months go by. Nothing. Now, I'm not doing a whole lot of interviews because the market is dried up. And this is how I know the tech market has tanked. And there are talks of that on the different media that are out there. that the tech industry has tanked. The nascent industry of AI was beginning to take root. Did that contribute? Maybe, I don't know. At one point I said, you know what, let me get up out of here and head up to Boston. Had a contact, reached out, hey, yeah, sure, come on in. And went up to Boston, same thing. Change of area, if you will. Different part of the country. Never been to New England before. First time in New England. And same thing. Nothing. Interview after interview after interview. When I could get one. It would probably be for every 100 applications, I maybe get 2 or 3 interviews out of that. Very, very, very low yield. Very low yield. Months going. Everything is now depleted. Where I'm staying at, now I gotta go. You see, here's what I've learned over the years. We're all good until money comes on the table. And when you can no longer contribute, you're done. In terms of that, and also when you're no longer marketable, when you no longer check the right boxes, as in my case. I've gone from a time in the past where I had 3 jobs ready for me. That many offers waiting for me to pick. To now, nothing. So with that, and I gotta go, and I had nowhere to go because I'm now pretty much broke because I hedged my bet against moving and then landing something. To the point where I was pretty much told, you gotta go, man. You need to contribute, which is fair enough. Can't argue that. If you're couch surfing with someone, you're using the utilities, electric and water. Okay? Those are not free. So if you're not contributing, or any likelihood of doing it very quickly, you're done. To the point where I walked into a homeless shelter. Why? Because this is New England in February. You would last maybe a half hour if you are ill prepared. That kind of cold will kill you in no time. So you can't be out there just, let me sit on a park bench. They will find you dead in no time. Okay? So I did that. Now, truth be told, I did check in, but I didn't commit to it. Because somebody helped me out. They gave me $1,000. I said, hey man, I don't know what this can do for you, but see what you can do with it. And I took it and I headed back to Atlanta. I said, look, been living in Atlanta for years. I've got a few more connections here. Not deep connections, but a few. So I did that. So I loaded up the truck and I headed back to Atlanta. And with the same thing, no job, no prospect, no nothing. It is not happening. I'm saying all of this to say, it is all well and good when you've got checks coming in. They tell you, hey, stack up 3-4 months of backup money, savings, whatever you want to call it, rainy day. however you want to determine, whatever the nomenclature. But when that runs for an extended amount of time, what do? You can only go so far. So, okay, I come back to Atlanta. I don't have anywhere to live because the house is gone. Everything is gone. The only thing I had at the time, while I still had it, was my truck. And then I tried to, work my little network, very little network. I'm an introvert. It's been documented. I did the assessment, whatever they call it. I'm a certified introvert. Okay? And I made a call and somebody said, hey, look, I can try to get you into FedEx Ground. And they did that. Sure enough, they came through. And I was working nights between 11 p.m. part-time till about 4 o'clock in the morning. And this is huffing boxes into the back of a trailer. And I'm making, I think, $17 an hour. And the toll it takes on me, even leading up to that point, tremendous toll. When I look at the fact that I am ready, I am willing, I am able to get back to work, but you don't get that nod from the other side of the table, or you don't get that nod from the other connection on that phone call, when you don't get the opportunity to move forward, to take it to the next step in terms of progress. If that keeps up for a long time, as in my case, it all comes crashing down. And the mental anguish that I'm going through, at one point I'm thinking in my head, I even said it, out of 300 million people in this country, Peter's the one? Really? Not that I would wish misfortune on anyone else. I will not be that selfish. But out of 300 million people, I'm the one that's getting shafted. The things going through my head are like, I've never been to jail. I've never been in the back of a police cruiser. I've never had a law enforcement officer wag their finger at me. Well, one time it did happen, way back in the 80s, coming from school. The Gregory Park police, they pulled the bus over. I was on the step. They took me off, took me into the precinct to detain me. Okay, maybe one time I got wagged at by a law enforcement officer. But I'm like, what's going on? I can't get a job. A trend that happened, and I'm going to close soon because this is running long. I'll do another part to this follow-up. I noticed trends over the years because I do a lot of interviews over time. In the U.S., you cannot be asked about your age. But what they are doing now is at the outset of a conversation, they will ask you, could you email us your driver's license? Or they will ask, what year did you graduate high school? And from that, if they don't have your DL, based on what year you tell them that you graduated high school, they'll extrapolate from that. So ageism is real, and I'm at that age. I am 56 years old. I am old. And in their eyes, I am done. many reasons for that, and I can only speculate. But yeah, you can come to the United States or anywhere else in the world, and you're doing good until you're not. If you're just a squirrel trying to get a nut, depending on someone else for a paycheck, that's your problem. Now, coulda, shoulda, woulda, I should have been more aggressive in terms of striking out on my own. I'm trying to do that now. I know it's not too late, but it's more of an uphill climb. Steep. But I should have been doing this 20 years ago. So yeah, you can be doing fine, doing well, until you're not. Because you as a person, as an individual, you do not exist in a vacuum. And even if you're driving your own ship, you've got your own business doing well, you will get a COVID and another COVID when everything tanks around you. Then what? You lose your business if you're not an entrenched operation that can ride out a storm. Very, very few companies are. Most small businesses can't survive that long. So in closing, let me here say that, yeah, the impression on the ground in Jamaica for someone who's never lived in another country and had to be there eking out a living, yeah, their worldview is going to be different. For those of us who are expats like myself, have seen the ups and downs. So I'm going to cut it short for now. I want to thank you for your time. And I'll do another part and talk about another thing that I've noticed over time is people from Africa, the Caribbean, they're coming here to work 2, 3, 4 jobs. I'll give my take on that a little bit. So with that, Peter is now checking out. I want to thank you for your time, and we'll talk at some other point when I get back on here. Y'all have a good one.